What it do, guys? It's the boy Richie back at it with another 6v6 UU battle, this time against Mario B. This is a guy from one of those discords who's gracious enough to accept my Pokemon battle challenge at like 3 in the morning today, by the way. Uh, but it was a really good battle, so I wanted to go ahead and get it up. Ahead of time, I want to go ahead and apologize for my voice because I'm monotone and I'm sick, which is like horrible twice over, but we're going to go ahead and rock out with it anyway. Looking at my team, I'm just using 6 guys I wanted to use. I was really excited to use like Blastoise and Mienshao because I never get to use Blastoise and because I've never used a Mienshao. While I've always liked the design on that Pokemon and I always love like fighting types, I've never used that Pokemon, but I was really excited to use it this game. Looking at my opponent's team, he has all the scary stuff, like all the bulky stuff. Like he has the Scizor, which we both got Scizors because you don't go into a UU match with no Scizor, or it's not an official UU team because you have to have Scizor. And anyway, he has the Glysaur, he has the Goodra, he has the Cresselia. Like he's ready to tank all my attacks. Primarina has some special defense bulk, and then he has the Manectric, which is like super offensive, like super scary anyway in his own way. But we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So first turn, I was like, he's starting out with Cresselia. You always see those things start to fill out your opponent's team. I was like, he's gonna start with that thing. I'm gonna start with my tripped out, my Amoonguss, because I figure I could take like a Psyshock or a Psychic and put that thing to sleep and have my way with it. But instead, he starts out with Primarina. So I'm getting all excited because I got the better matchup. And he actually hits me with the Psychic, which I forgot this Pokemon even got Psychic. And he just completely drops my Amoonguss like first turn. My tripped out is just completely out. Like garbage first turn. Like already a handicap. We're already 5-0. I lose my Amoonguss. Sucks really bad. I know he's locked into that Choice Specs Choice Specs Psychic, and I know he was probably fearing me using like Sword Dance really early and possibly getting like that 5-0 on his team, but that actually wasn't the case. He chooses out his Cresselia. I went for knockoff expecting the switch and was able to knock off that leftovers, which I was really happy because when you're dealing with all these bulky Pokemon, it really helps when you can get rid of that damage. That damage recovery. But he chooses out his Manectric, while I go ahead and just U-turn out of here, expecting a switch. Was really happy with the amount of damage that it did. I know he's probably expecting me to go for a fake out, so I'm actually not gonna go for a fake out. I'm just gonna continue to keep playing it safe, and I was actually just gonna go ahead and go for another U-turn just right off the bat. Look at that, 2 special attacks on this Cresselia, and he's like just eating all of it. Like he's just barely at half life. But I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn right back out into Scizor. Like I said, only reason I'm doing this is because I just lost my Amoonguss first turn. So I'm already playing at a handicap, meaning I have to play really safe. So he actually just goes for Moonlight, which is really frustrating because he just got back all that HP that I worked so hard on getting rid of. But he's going to eat that U-turn again, and since he's just going to keep eating all my physical attacks, I'm going to go ahead and approach this a different way. I'm choosing out my Mega Blastoise, and I'm going to start hitting this thing with some Mega powered Mega Launcher Dark Pulse attacks. I was hoping that I'd be faster than this thing, so if he did live, I could, get a potential flinch. But he's actually faster than me. I underestimated this thing's speed. I thought because it was on all those trick room teams and stuff that this was just like really slow, but that's actually not the case. He's faster than me, so I was really hoping to kill this thing with Dark Pulse, but as you can see, it doesn't. And at this point in the battle, I just kind of wanted to cry because I was like, this thing can Toxic Stall me, and that's probably what this team does. He could have went for Moonlight. I definitely would have went for Moonlight, but he instead makes the play of swapping into his Goodra, who can probably tank special attacks all day. I don't have Ice Beam on him. I do have Dragon Pulse, but I'm not going to go ahead and go for that. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and swap out and make a risky, kind of a risky play, swapping out into my Rock Paper, hoping that he was going to go for like this move, a Dragon Pulse, because I can resist that. But it does a lot more damage than I'm comfortable with. Like, that hurt me a lot for a resisted move. Like, that almost dropped me to half my HP. So I say this was risky because he definitely could have been packing Fire Blast, but I was willing to chance it. Instead, he chooses out his Glysaur, which is what I was hoping he was going to do. Because I just decided to go for the knockoff right here and knock off his Toxic Orb. So that's also more damage recovery that I'm not going to have to worry about. And I definitely don't want to stick in here with this thing. He's definitely going to go ahead and put up his Rock Sub. That was expected. I'm going to go for the U-turn right here because I do have a whole Blastoise on my team that's ready to kill Glysaurs and get rid of rocks in case I, need that. So I'm, like I said, choosing out my Blastoise. I know he doesn't want to stay in here and take a potential Scald that could burn him if he did live somehow, or kill him. So my guy's going to take that Stealth Rock damage. He's going to take that Toxic damage. Still at a point where I can take an Earthquake or an Acrobatics from this thing. Whatever he wants to do, I'm down with it. Instead, he switches into his Serena, which kind of sucked for me because that just meant something was going to have to get sacked for me. Because my Blastoise definitely can't kill that thing. But I started kind of devising a plan at this point in the battle. As much as I wanted to use this Blastoise in the battle, I figured he was probably the best one to sack. I still do have Defog on Scizor in case, rocks do somehow get back up. But, yeah, my Blastoise was just going to have to drop to that Moonblast. So the plan I devised was I have to get this thing below half HP to where an Earthquake from Mamoswine can kill him if it comes down to that. So I choose out my Mienshao, go ahead and use the Fake Out to get that little bit of chip damage. Then I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn on out of here. So I was really happy with what Mienshao did because now that he's about at half, I feel like an Earthquake from my Mamoswine can kill this. I want to set this team up to where my Mamoswine can get a nice little sweep going towards the end. So I actually swap back out into my Scizor, who can take a Choice Specs Stab Moonblast from this Primarina. So that's actually the goal. I was just going to go ahead and Bullet Punch at this point. I figured he was probably going to want to swap out maybe, or maybe just he wanted to go ahead and kill my Scizor. But he's going to go ahead and swap back out into his Bloody Mary because he can take, pretty much all the attacks that I have from this thing. But I was actually just going to stay in here and keep going for Bullet Punch. I knew he was probably just going to go ahead and get his rocks back up. So I was like, if he wants to go ahead and do that, that's cool with me. But it's going to cost him his Glysaur. But instead he goes for Roost, which was like worst case scenario for me. Because that means he can stay in here. He can get his rocks up. He can kill my Scizor. And it can just be all horrible for me. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and swap out into what this Glysaur does not want to battle against. No, I don't have my Blastoise anymore, but I do have something that can hurt this Glysaur really, really bad. I know he's not going for Earthquake or anything to attack me. I know he wants his Stealth Rocks back up. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose out my Mamoswine. My Mamoswine is sashed, so I wanted to get him in here before the rocks came out, just in case. Like I said, he doesn't want to take any ice moves, so I'm not even going to go for the ice moves. I was just going to go ahead and predict a different Pokemon to come out. So he chooses out his Scizor to take this Earthquake, and I was like, let's do half. I was like, can I do half? Can I do half? Nope. It was wishful thinking for me to even think he was going to drop below half, especially because he has these leftovers on him. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the obvious play of swapping out into my Arcanine because I have a whole Intimidate Arcanine who is on this team to kill Scizors. And he's my guy's gonna take that Stealth Rock damage. Not too good because he's a fire type, but I am gonna intimidate this Scizor in case he did want to stay in here and chance the Bullet Punch. Chance me staying in, but he's smart. He U-turns on out of here. Luckily for me, he does take that Rocky Helmet damage that puts him at enough HP to where a Earthquake potentially could kill him. Maybe if I got a good roll, but now his Glysaur is in here against my Arcanine. He's probably expecting me to switch out, but that's actually not the case. I'm just going to go ahead and Will-O-Wisp this thing so I can actually take some Earthquakes from him. I know he has Roost. He doesn't know I have Morning Sun. So I'm actually just going to play this a little bit different. We could just Morning Sun and Roost up until, our PP runs out, which probably would have been mine because I think Morning Sun only has 5 and Roost has 10, but it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep Arcanine in here. I'm going to show him I have this just because I want to get a little more burn damage on him. I probably should have did a little bit more, but in the long run, it's really not going to matter. He hits me with Earthquake. Like I said, I'm playing this a little bit different. I know I should probably reserve my Arcanine for that Scizor, but I feel like it's okay. I feel like I have different ways to drop that Scizor, so I'm really not tripping too much. He is just gonna go ahead and Earthquake, and I'm just gonna sack my Arcanine. I feel like Arcanine did what Arcanine needed to do. Arcanine scared that Scizor out. Arcanine Will-O-Wisp this Glysaur. Arcanine did what Arcanine needed to do. So with his HP that low, I feel comfortable enough to choose in my Mienshao and just hit this thing with whatever I have. Uh, I don't have any Stealth Rocks up, but I know this thing, because he's burned, he probably doesn't want to keep it anymore. He has his Stealth Rocks up. My Scizor is has no HP. Like, I'm sure he's comfortable enough to where he can, sack off his Glysaur. So he's actually sitting pretty good. My opponent still does have a pretty good lead right here. I'm still trying to bring it back. He chooses out the Magnetric, which I was okay with that. I wasn't sure if a Thunderbolt could kill me or not, but I was willing to chance it if that's what he wanted to do. He's going to go ahead and use this opportunity to get his Mega Evolution off. Intimidate drop my my Mienshao some, which sucks, because that meant I was probably not going to be able to kill this thing with a Drain Punch or anything, but it sucks because I don't get a chance anyway, because he's going to go ahead and Volt Switch on out of here into his Scizor. Into his Cresselia, which even with that little bit of damage, with his little bit of HP, I thought with the Intimidate drop it still wouldn't be able to kill, but luckily for me it was able to kill this Cresselia, and my guy gets a little bit of HP back, not enough to take another Volt Switch from this Magnetric. So I'm not gonna go ahead and leave my my Mienshao in. I figured the best move for me would be just to kind of sack off my Scizor. My Scizor only has like 24 HP, so 42 HP. It's not going to be really able to take any damage from any of these Pokemon, so I figured this would be the best move. I'm glad he actually went for Overheat. He probably expected my Mamoswine to come in, expecting me to try to absorb that Volt Switch, but that wasn't the case. I sacked off him. I was actually really glad that he actually went for the Overheat, because now I can just choose in my guy and I wanted to go ahead and get Stealth Rocks up, because I figured he was going to swap out because he, lost some of his special attack, but he stays in here, goes for another Overheat, maybe thinking that my guy wasn't going to be Thick Fat, but I have to have that Thick Fat. But now I'm kind of in a good point. His special attack is dropped, but I don't want my guy to drop. Not at this point, because he does still have that Scizor in the bag. But I am comfortable enough to bring in my Mienshao on his Overheats. By this time he's used like 2 Overheats, so he's not going to be able to kill me with any of his moves. He can Volt Switch out if he wants. He can do all that, but I really wanted to go ahead and try to kill that Magnetric, because it's just such a threat while it has that Overheat. He chooses out the Scizor, which was equally as a threat to my team, to my Mamoswine, as that Magnetric is, because a Bullet Punch could hurt my Mamoswine a lot. My guy is not Focus Sashed anymore after taking, the Stealth Rock damage and the Overheat. So I do want to go ahead and get this thing knocked out. My guy Drain Punches, get enough HP to where he could possibly take a Bullet Punch from this Scizor, which is okay with me. I'm just actually going to go for the Z move because I have it. Yeah, that's really the only reason I use this move. I only have this move on him in case he gets like stuck in with Scizors, because Drain Punch isn't really like, I don't know, Drain Punch isn't like a super strong fighting move. I really enjoy it, but like I said, I just wanted to go ahead and use it to use it. So that's the case right there. My Mienshao did what Mienshao needed to do, knocked out that Scizor right there. So now we're down to 2-1. I'm sorry, not 2-1. 2-3. He has 3 Pokemon left. He goes for Overheat right here. I'm really happy he does that. I wasn't sure. He probably went for it again, expecting my Mamoswine to come out, because he doesn't want to get stuck while I use like a Volt Switch or anything. But now it comes down to the moment of truth. This is kind of what I set the battle up for. My guy takes that Stealth Rock damage. He's down a few levels in special attack because of the overheat, to where he can't kill me with another overheat. He chooses out his GUI. I wasn't playing any games. I was going right for the ice shard because I was like, if I could knock that thing out, I win. I was like, if I could knock that mana trick out, that definitely would have been GG. But instead, I was hoping that I could still pull off the dub here. He chooses out the GUI. It had no chance. I was just going to go ahead and keep playing it safe using the ice shard. Not going to go for any icicle crash. I honestly don't even have any icicle crash. I thought Mammoth Swine just naturally learned icicle crash until like it was way too late. So I do have icicle spear on it, but he chooses out this pre-marina. Luckily, because of the damage I got on it earlier in the match, I am able to knock it out with an earthquake. And now it just comes down to the moment of truth. This main net trick comes out, and I'm like hoping I can take it out with an ice shard. He does get the intimidate drop on me, but in turn he does also take stealth rock damage. So I'm really just hoping at this point I could take him down with an ice shard. So playing no games at all, that's just what I go for. No earthquake, no icicle spear, and he lives on 3 HP and is able to hit me with overheat. While I have thick fat, there is no possible way that I was going to be able to live that. So that actually does end the battle. I do take my L here, but it was a super fun battle that I had. Like I said, super fun. I have a whole bunch of battles that I want to go ahead and get recorded before Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon come out, because that's gonna, I don't know, be just like a whole different thing to do. But if you guys enjoyed the battle, leave a like if you want. It's up to you. I just really enjoy making these things for you guys. But if you want to battle me, I'm gonna go ahead and leave contact information in the description if you want to go ahead and get that going. I like doing all tier battles. I just don't like doing Uber battles, but if you guys want to do that, like, I'm down for it, because having a battle is better than no battles. So just hit me up if you want, like, anytime. Like, it's cool. Thank you for watching at this point. Sorry for being sick and recording and losing my breath all the time throughout these battles, but anyway, thank you guys. Peace.